The Port Melbourne Sharks. It was a good victory away against Pascoe Vale where defender Michael Eager scored. And the Sharks got their first win of the season. Will be looking to build on that. Green Gully, after winning its first 2 games of the season, have had a little bump in the road. My name is Chris Gleeson, and it's my pleasure to bring into the commentary for tonight's NPL stream, Matthew Sultana.
Yeah, Chris, well, really excited to be here. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. 2 sides that have had somewhat mixed results in their opening 4 games, and 2 sides really with almost polar opposites, positives and negatives about them. Obviously, Green Gully, really struggling to keep the ball out of the back of the net, and Port Melbourne really struggling to put it in the back of the net. So I think it's going to be a very interesting game here at Green Gully Reserve.
It should be set up for a cracker. Beautiful pitch here at Green Gully. This game was originally scheduled to be at JL Murphy Reserve in Port Melbourne, but a little bit of council work on the pitches deemed it unplayable. So I know Port Melbourne wanted me to say thank you to Green Gully for hastily arranging this fixture and reversing it. So Port Melbourne will be playing at home later in the season against Green Gully. As we see Port Melbourne in the white, Green Gully in the green. We can just quickly go through the starting lineups of either side. It's Jared Tyson in goal for Green Gully with a back 4 of Jordan Lampard, Jordan Hall, Daniel Jones and Jeremy Walker. In midfield, Tim Purcell comes in for the suspended Nick Kalmar. Jonathan Bunaz is his defensive midfield partner. Just in front of him, they've got Jay Davies, Matthew Fletcher and Andy Brennan with Alex Salmon up top. On the bench is Lucas Spinella, William Simas, Adesu Bayu, T-Boy Camera and Jack Kotsanis. And we'll go through the Port Melbourne lineup very shortly. And we are now away at Green Gully Reserve. And it's Green Gully through Lampard. Ball forward. Goes out off Bunis. And it's out for a Port throw. Port Melbourne's lineup is Matthew Symes in goal with Ko Di Godoy, Michael Eager, Alan Kearney and Amadou Karoma. The back 4 in midfield, Daniel Clark, Yuta Konagaya. And in front of him is Francesco Stella, Kamal Ibrahim and Sam Ford. As Kearney gives an early touch back to his goalkeeper. Both sides with English centre forwards in this game. Sam Ford, the a well-taken goal against South Melbourne, but we've seen the best and the worst of him after that really poor miss last week from close range, probably the miss of the season. And we've seen Alex Salmon, who's had a few injury problems in pre-season, really hit the ground running.
Yeah, I think Alex Salmon is really a player that's come across from WA and adjusted very quickly to Victoria. Obviously in WA he had a great goal scoring record, I believe 57 goals in about 62 games. So he seems to have adjusted to this league very quickly. As for Sam Ford, maybe it's a bit of the opposite. A couple more games, I think maybe we'll start seeing him firing. But he's definitely a player of good pedigree. Obviously he used to play for West Ham United in their under-23s team in the Premier League 2 competition. So you'd expect some goals out of him this season.
Just the one, as we said, against South Melbourne, but once again he leads the line for Port Melbourne. As Tyson with the left will clear. In the midfield it's Eager. There's an early touch for Ford. Couldn't find Yuta Konagaya. Good battle by Mulcahy in midfield. Kearney. Pass a bit wide for his goalkeeper Symes. Manages to clear. Geordie Lampard will see the ball go out. Former Brisbane Roar Youth Lampard. He actually started his NPL Victoria career at the Sharks in Port Melbourne before playing for Moreland City last year. He's back in the top league this season. Stella. Here's Ko Di Godoy. Fires it in. And it's going to fall for the goalkeeper Tyson. Early throw from him as he looks to set Green Gully forward with Brennan. Plenty of time. Karoma gives it up. Karoma and Eager. As we start to get a bit more winter weather, Matt. Just starting a bit cold here on the hill of Green Gully. Yeah. The winds house through.
Yeah, that wind, that breeze is coming through, and I'm not sure how it is down on pitch side, but it's quite a strong breeze going across the field, so I'm not sure if maybe that's going to play into this first half, but it's definitely a strong gust of wind.
We've got the wind at our backs as it's pushing across from the broadcast side over to the far side of the pitch. Uta looking for Ford. The offside flag does go up against it, but it was very well defended by a young Jordan Hall. But it is a beautiful night for football. Pitch is in pretty good condition, probably a little bit slow. We saw that in the under-20s.
Yeah, definitely. I think in that 20s game, the ball was holding up a bit more. I think it's maybe just a little bit of caution from ground management just to keep that nice lush grass here for the winter.
And we are live and interactive, so you can always send through a message and join in the commentary of tonight's game. One of 3 games going on at the moment, all kicked off. Bentley Greens and Hume City still 0-0 after 21 minutes. And Dandenong City versus Melbourne Knights in a bit of a Croatian Friday night clash here in the multicultural rounds. That's still 0-0. So we'll keep you across all the scores from around the grounds. We'll also get a bit of a preview of tomorrow's games as well as the ball's given up. Here's Fletcher. Fletcher can drive at the Port defence. Ball forces Salmon a little bit wide. Who can attack this? Free header back post. Great save. Eager gets it clear. It was Andy Brennan at the back post.
Yeah, real great chance there early for Green Gully. I think it was Alan Mulcahy in the midfield giving the ball away from Port Melbourne. And Andy Brennan picking it up, playing it out wide to Alex Sulmer, who really crossed that ball in really well on the left foot. And what a chance there for Green Gully early.
So Green Gully with a warning shot. It's a really good save. It was at the keeper, but still had to keep himself big and not collapse on that.
Yeah, it's one of those saves you just got to make, you know. And Matthew Symes is generally pretty solid in goals for Port Melbourne, so but definitely, like you said, warning signs early for Port Melbourne.
As the ball's out on the far side of the pitch. Now Walker. Prentice heads it on. Kearney will get onto his trusted left foot. Switches play. Clark's done well to head that on. Now Kamal Ibrahim into the starting lineup tonight. See him off the bench last week that was able to get onto the short corner and cross it for Eager to get the winner. Here is Michael Eager. Poor pass from him. There's Hall. Switches play. Walker now Brennan. Tries to go past Di Godoy. Dangerous ball. Here's a chance for Salmon on the volley. Deflected away. Now in midfield with Mulcahy. Driver forward Clark. Tyson will get there. Another chance for Gully to cross. Kearney does well to head it away. Clearing ball looking for Ford. Headed back to the keeper. It's good to see Tyson still got the confidence after a mistake he made a couple of weeks ago, this time with the chest outside the box. Plays it off to his teammate.
Yeah, I don't think that that incident a couple of weeks ago is begrudges his confidence at all. I'm really confident to come out there and bring it down to his chest. I think you have a little bit of stage fright from a couple of weeks ago, but seems to have gotten over it.
Some of the more experienced goalkeepers in this league. Spent plenty of time in the A-League with the likes of the defunct Gold Coast United and for a long time second choice keeper at Western Sydney.
It always helps having that experience in between the sticks at this level. I think experienced goalkeepers are hard to find here.
So now it's Lampard. We're just adjusting with the mic level as well, so if Matt sounds a little bit louder, just send us through a message. Ball over the top, it'll be Eager. And we do have a goal. And it's the Melbourne Knights who take the lead against Dandenong City. That's Yuta Konagaya. It's Kamal Ibrahim. Now they'll switch play out wide. Francesco Stella. Just playing in front of Green Gully at the moment. Now Konagaya turns and gets the shot away. It was a good look on the left foot of Konagaya, but he just skies it over the top.
Yeah, I think that was Port Melbourne's probably best patch of play so far in this half. Konagaya really getting into a good space there and just overhits his shot, but definitely improved signs from Port Melbourne early.
Now Green Gully take it short. Long ball looking for Salmon. As well to get the head to the ball first, but no real support around him. As Kearney will bring it forward for the Sharks. At the top of Stella, Walker. Now Digoroi. Konagaya drops deep. I've seen him do that a little bit more this year. Last season he was electrifying, playing in that number 10 role for the Sharks, but he's dropped a little bit deeper and deeper his game. He's just trying to build a bit more confidence in his game. And that's a great ball through for Ford. Ford gets the shot away, and it's a good save. Tyson gets his fingertips to it and gets it past the post.
Well, you're just talking about Konagaya dropping deep, but what he did there, he just dropped into that space and he opened up that passing lane for Michael Eager, who played a good ball into Sam Ford and just wide there from Port Melbourne.
The Sharks take it short, back post delivery, and Lampard, good communication with his goalkeeper, sees it out for a goal kick. So the Bentley Greens have also taken the lead against Hume City. It's Hamish Watson. What a start to the season it has been from him. He's the one who's got the goal for the Melbourne Knights. And for the Bentley Greens, it's Valentino Yule. And he's also had an excellent season so far for the Bentley Greens. So two players coming into NPL Victoria for the first time this season have really lit it up so far.
Yeah, definitely. Hamish Watson has really turned out to be a great signing for Melbourne Knights. He's really providing them with the much-needed goals that they need this season. And Valentino Yuel, really a bit of a surprise package from Adelaide. He only scored 4 goals last season in South Australia, and he's really just come into Victoria and torn this league apart. So it's very good to see players coming into the league and doing very well.
I must admit I was a little bit worried for that battle with Gideon Sweet and Valentino on the wing. So Valentino's got his early goal in this game. Still 0-0 here at Green Gully Reserve. Brennan with the best chance of the game for Gully, and Ford with a snapshot. It was well saved by Tyson. Ball's well left, but Walker couldn't reel it in. Tigoroi up the line. Green Gully get it back. Now here's Bunis. Play opens up for Lampard. Chips it in. Dangerous area. Still alive. Volleyed in and it's side netting.
Another really good chance there for Green Gully. They're having a lot of success through their fullbacks early on, and they're really getting into dangerous positions as Matt Symes absolutely belts that ball forward off the goal kick and instantly gives away possession. But yeah, Green Gully having a lot of success out wide through their fullbacks. Something to watch in this half.
Jones fires it into Fletcher. Back to Lampard. Now Jones will switch it to the youngster in Hall. Boonis. As Walker drives forward. Just got 3 1-2s, couldn't get the 4th.
You've got to be careful here. Port Melbourne are really throwing some numbers forward on this attack.
Oh. Eager, the big centre-back, tried to play playmaker, turns it over. Mulkai's dropped into that position momentarily. And now it's Brennan, chance to run at the full-back. Dangerous ball to the back post, Karoma deals with it. It's out for a Green Gully corner.
Green Gully really piling on the pressure early here for Port Melbourne. It's going to be really interesting to see how long Port Melbourne can withstand this barrage, really, from Green Gully.
And we thank you, Ryan. Yes, the levels are much better now. So we've got Matt's voice in fullness now. It's Jay Davies. What a goal he scored last week.
It was an excellent strike with the outside of the foot there, bending it into the top corner. A real perler from Jay Davies.
He scored a few crackers in his NPL career, this time with the corner back post. And the ball's going to be out for a goal kick. It's a dangerous area. Once again, it was Salmon who got the head, but just couldn't direct it goalward.
Yeah, Alex Salmon seems like he's almost everywhere when the ball's in the air. I mean, he's not the tallest player, number 9 you'll see, but definitely he's not scared to let you know he's there and challenge for those headers.
As we wait. To wait for Symes to restart the game. First 15 minutes have flown by. And Bolt's going to be a difficult one for Hall to deal with. In the end, Lampard is the one who gets it clear. Alan Mulkay. Chance for Karoma. Up to Ford. He's in the box now, Ford. Lays it off. Here's a chance for the left footer, Clark. It's well deflected. Clark still fights for it. Goes over, no foul given. Gully get it clear.
Yeah, I thought Sam Ford might have just hit that one first time inside the box. I was a bit surprised he tried to shift it onto his left. It almost looked like a great opportunity just to bury that one in the bottom corner. So, yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on there.
Eager and Kearney. Kamal Ibrahim finds Yuta Konagaya. Well worked by Fletcher to win the ball back now, Boonis. Plays it through, Fletcher's straight offside. Passes a little bit too strong anyway. Good attacking intent from both sides early.
Yeah, definitely. I think when Port Melbourne get the ball moving like they are now, they definitely open Green Gully up. And even when Green Gully have the ball, they're definitely opening Port Melbourne up too. So it's a good attacking game so far.
Oh, Kamal Ibrahim almost found a teammate. In the end, it's Boonis will bring it forward. Jay Davies. End-to-end action so far. Passes behind Lampard, but he should be able to reel that in. Excellent work by Stella and De Godoy before. It's a nice little flick from Stella seeing him through. And Ibrahim's cross was almost found De Godoy, who made his way into the box.
There was a good little play there by Port Melbourne. I think they look their best when they start playing the ball around. They start trying to open up Green Gully. I think when they try and play direct, it's just too easy to defend.
Now Kamal Ibrahim's can drive it forward. Now Karoma. Try to find Ford. It's getting the experience of Jones. We'll get it clear. Eager up for the header. Now the Sharks will build an attack from the back again. Kamal Ibrahim. It's one thing I noticed with Green Gully so far this year. They've been a real high press side. You can see them sitting back a little bit more and just trying to go on the counter. Both sides trying to play on the counter a little bit.
Yeah, I think when you go out and press, you know, you've got to make sure you do it organised. And I think sometimes at this level teams, they just press and they press for the sake of pressing. I think sometimes when you sit back and you let the other team make the decisions, you find that you end up with the ball a lot more.
Oh, good effort from Francesco Stalla, but just over the top. They're finding those little pockets of space at Port Melbourne.
Yeah, I think it's something that over the last couple of weeks they've probably struggled with, is just finding players in the spaces and in between the lines, but they're definitely having a bit more success in this game.
They've only scored the 2 goals so far. Michael Eager with the goal last week to see them defeat Pascoe Vale. And also a 2-1 loss to South Melbourne, where Sam Smith scored a really well-taken goal. Against Avondale, they were a little bit unlucky with a controversial penalty decision which separated the two sides, and a 0-0 draw with Kingston back in round 1. This game was supposed to be a JL Murphy reserve, but a bit of cancer work on the pitch has deemed it unplayable for the moment, so this fixture's been hastily arranged. Ball's given up now. It's Clark and Kamal Ibrahim. And now Amadou Karoma trying to play it through, and well done Daniel Jones. Oh, the ball's given up again in a dangerous area. Ford to Ibrahim. Trying to play it through to Karoma. And the Sharks will start again from the back. Oh, that's a great ball through. The flag did go up against Stalla.
It was a great ball there by Alan Kearney, I think, and that's where really Port Melbourne do look their best. When they get the ball on the ground, they start to move it around, they start to get plays in between the lines, and it was a great pass by Alan Kearney, and it was just marginally offside there for Francesco Stalla.
This ball's given back to Tyson. Good 5 minutes by Port Melbourne, who've pretty much dominated the ball.
I don't think Port have really settled into this game. It was really Green Gully that piled on the pressure early, but they've settled down now, Port Melbourne, and they're getting the ball, and as Green Gully look to play, and Port Melbourne regain possession.
And as Purcell's crossfield ball is cut out, and here goes Mulcahy. Stella, De Godoy, plays it through to Stella. Walker at his back, forces him backwards. Spent a little bit of time at Perth Glory in recent seasons as Jeremy Walker. Started his career at, it was Melbourne Heart, so he's had a bit of A-League experience. A bit of time with Hume City before spending the last couple of seasons here at Green Gully. Definitely one of the most talented fullbacks in the league.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, obviously, I think it was part of that foundation squad for Melbourne Heart. Obviously had that experience at Perth Glory, so yeah, he's definitely one of the most talented fullbacks in this competition.
And De Godoy wins it back. Now Clark will feed De Godoy, fires it in. And it's an easy take there for Tyson. I like the physical battle between Brennan and De Godoy on the far side. He's definitely met his match. You don't normally get fullbacks as big as him.
Yeah, and De Godoy has really been a bit of a mystery signing, as I believe it's Andy Brennan here in on goal.
Now it's another battle between the two. Brennan lays it off. Salmon on the turn. Shoots it wide. I like the idea though.
Yeah, very very nice there from Green Gully. Quick early break. But yeah, like I was saying about De Godoy, he's really been a bit of a mystery signing. When the name popped up, everyone kind of said who, but he has had some experience at Sydney FC and Newcastle Jets. Obviously, some experience also in Brazil, and you can definitely tell he's got some nice pair of feet on him too. So he's quite a handy little player in the midfield there for Port Melbourne.
So he was a late starter to the season, as he got his first start last week. Long ball over the top. Tyson will be able to collect that one. I'm just going in the other NPL Victoria games around the ground. 41 minutes gone. Bentley Greens 1, Hume City 0. Valentino Yule with a goal. And the Melbourne Knights through Hamish Watson have the lead against Dandenong City. That game is 24 minutes in, as is this game here at Green Gully Reserve. We've come close to a goal so far in this game on a few occasions. Jay Davies. Just really chopped down late, that one.
Yeah, a bit of a late challenge there from Kamal Ibrahim, and Jay Davies goes down, and yeah, nice easy free kick here for Green Gully. But kicking into the wind, I think it's going to be hard to try and whip that one into the box. So it'll be interesting to see if Green Gully try and play short here.
Davies thought about the quick pass. Restart it through Walker. To Godoy. To Ford. Ball has gone out. And it's going to be a Gully throw. A few hands up there from the Sharks players, not happy.
Yeah, Adam Piddick is also not happy on the sideline. I think he was. I think he thought it was a free kick for Port Melbourne, but yeah, it's going to be a throw in here for Green Gully.
They want it back though. It's Ford. Well done by Purcell to win it back. Burness just couldn't reel it in. Ibrahim and Konagaya. And Kamal Ibrahim is fouled back from Jay Davies.
Jay Davies gets his foul back there on Kamal Ibrahim. This is a bit of a dangerous area with obviously the wind behind you. Obviously Ute Konagaya has quite a free kick on him, so this is definitely shooting distance for him.
So it's perfectly set up for the left foot. A little dark arts mind game at the moment, where the wall's set up 3 metres away from where the ball's going to be taken. Before the referee in the middle, Michael Manus, will walk that wall back.
Green Gully really throwing a lot of numbers on that wall there. I mean, I think that's 6 players there. Yeah, 6 players on the wall. Still quite a far way out.
See, Francesco Stella's the one who's put the ball on the ground. I do have him as the right foot option, Konagaya as the left. Mulkai can strike it from range too. He's just off to the side there, maybe for a layoff. So the wall is set. Here's a chance for Port Melbourne. It's going to be Stella. Went for that Ronaldo knuckleball and totally stuffed it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was thinking there, but yeah, really poorly taken free kick. I thought Ute Konagaya would have hit that one with the left foot, but yeah, disappointing free kick there from Francesco Stella, really.
As Jay Davies will play it back.
It's hard to recognise Jay Davies without the blonde hair this season.
Now he's gone a bit more natural, Jay Davies. He's left the blonde hair to Brodie Taylor over at the Bentley Greens this year, so every year we've got to have a Slim Shady, and Brodie Taylor in the southeast has got that do. But we do see Burness with a... Yeah, looks like he's got the tips through the hair.
Yeah, I think he's made the frosted tips. The frosted tips have made a comeback here.
And then you got the Silver Fox of Alan Kearney. So a bit of everything on show as the ball's switched. Amadou Karoma and Kamal Ibrahim combine. Ibrahim wanted a player to come short to him. That didn't eventuate. Again, it'll be Kearney. Here's Ford. Ibrahim gets to the box, finds Ford, ball's out wide. Here's Stella, forced back. Now Stella. Dangerous ball in. Coroma will get there. Now Ibrahim. Green Gully very deep in defence.
Just seems like those little actions in and around the box just aren't happening for Port Melbourne. It's either a poor touch or an overhit pass that always seems to break it down for them.
And we've just got a comment about, is this game at Green Gully and is Port Melbourne the home team? May I ask why? Well, Port's ground was unavailable. Just had some cancel work, so this game was, fixtures been rearranged, so it is a Green Gully as that's deflected. And Symes will pick it up. Yes, we've just had this game rearranged yesterday, where the Football Victoria deemed the JL Murphy Reserve unable to be played on this weekend. So Green Gully and Port Melbourne have swapped fixtures. So Port Melbourne will play Green Gully later in the year at home. Ball's cut off, gives a chance for Lampard. Now Jay Davies. Always wants to turn forward. He's found Brunis and another channel looking for Fletcher. There you go. Well defended, gets it out for a throw.
Yeah, I think when you talk about experienced centre-back pairings, do they come any more experienced than Michael Eager and Alan Kearney? I mean, two players that have really been around the Victorian Premier League and the National Premier League for some time now. Alan Kearney also used to play at Everton in his younger days.
So we've seen it's definitely a theme in the NPL. There's a lot of senior citizen centre-backs. If you look at Heidelberg with Biles and Pace, you see Daniel Jones. Some of the best centre-backs in this league are so vastly experienced. It's a good ball in by Lampard. It's well headed away. Walker makes a bit of a meal of that. Now Sam Ford. Wanted to play the early ball to Conagaya. Has to settle for Ibrahim. Now Mulcahy. Even if you look at Port Melbourne, they've got Jonathan Munoz on the bench too, who's into his late 30s as well. Former Green Gully player in the early 2000s, VPL era.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was around the time of 2010, 2011, which was when Green Gully were really flying at the top of the ladder. I think they won back-to-back championships that season. Also, Daniel Jones was around then. Won the club best and fairest in 2010, 2011. So definitely some experienced statements in the NPL.
Gully restart. It is half-time over at Kingston Heath. Bentley Greens hold on to their 1-0 lead against Hume City. No foul given. Now Ford. Couldn't turn. Now Conagaya. Kamal Ibrahim. Tumwell to force him back. As the Sharks stay patient. Pass Miss Stella now. Can Green Gully make them pay on the counter? They can't. And now the ball finds Stella. They eventually get it through to him. Francesco Stella curls it, looking for the top corner, gets a deflection. And the Sharks will have a corner.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting. Green Gully have somewhat struggled on set pieces this season, so it's a big opportunity here for Port Melbourne to pinch the lead. It's been very evident in those early games that set pieces hasn't been the strong suit of Green Gully.
To wait for Daniel Clark to come over and take this corner. So we see that corner flag's a little worse for wear. Not sure why. I don't think anything's hit it yet so far. Probably needs a bigger stake. Cross comes in. Comes back out. Clark fires it in again and he's going to get another corner.
Yeah, I think that corner flag just needs to be re-pegged into the ground. It's copped a bit of a beating off the wind.
So wait for Clark. In fact, it's out for a throw. fooled everyone. Stays alive. Clark near post, Jones away. Amadou Karoma and Kamal Ibrahim. Back post ball. Walker gets it away, but doesn't completely clear it. Now back post, Lampard. Now Fletcher tries to play in the channel looking for Salmon, but Green Gully are really struggling to get any possession in this game the more this half's sort of progressed.
Yeah, definitely. I think the first 15 minutes I had a lot of possession, but really since then it's been all Port Melbourne. Port Melbourne have really taken control of this game and really wearing Green Gully down here in this first half.
Ibrahim finds Ford again. He's probably had more touches on the ball than he did last week, did Sam Ford. Now Kearney. Burness will pick it up. Now Walker back to his goalkeeper, but once again they've got to clear. It will bounce. Once again Port Melbourne get it back, but Fletcher's done well to get it out for a throw. What's a Green Gully just got to do at the moment just to sort of get a foothold back in the game?
Well, when they win the ball, they've got to keep it. I think every time they win it, they just go forward straight away looking for that counter-attack. And if you want to keep control of the game, as Ute Konagaya is in here.
Konagaya, sharp angle, side netting. He hasn't had his shooting boots on this season so far. It was another great opportunity for him, trying to beat Tyson at the near post.
Early warning signs again there from Port Melbourne. Really starting to threaten here against Green Gully. Yeah, like I said, I think Green Gully, they've got to get their foot on the ball and start moving around again. You can see there's some tired legs out there. They've done a lot of running now this first half, chasing the ball. And yeah, every time they get it, they just keep giving it away.
Maybe they can build something now with Davies. And Salmon will bring it forward. Running into danger though. There's 3 Sharks around him. And now Mulcahy. Trying to find Ford. They've done well to win it back quickly, Green Gully. Tim Purcell to Boonis. They worked it out well to Brennan. Trying to fire it in. Gets it back, Brennan. Good skill. Looks like a heavy touch. No, he got a little touch off a Shark player. Green Gully will get a corner.
Yeah, I think Eddie Brennan did really well there. Quick little feet in and around the box. Creates a little half chance for himself, and Gully have a corner.
They don't seem in too big of a rush. Gives their players a chance to have a breather. We do see Andy Brennan with his hands on his head, sucking in the big ones.
Yeah, he's been doing that last 5-6 minutes. He's been really sucking in that air. I'm not sure maybe if he got winded in a challenge or he's done something, but he's definitely struggling to continue here. He's definitely sucking in the big ones.
It's Jay Davies on set piece duty for Gully. Symes comes out and collects that unopposed. Port Melbourne had all their players back defending that corner, so he's got to hold onto the ball and allow his team to come up the field. Now he just clears it into no man's land. Jordan Lampard. It's a little bit better by Green Gully, a little bit more possession now. And
yeah, starting to settle in now, starting to move the ball. I think they identified that they were really having to chase quite a lot there before. So they're trying to definitely regain that possession, keep moving Port Melbourne and try and create chances that way.
Jones will go back to Tyson. He just couldn't find a teammate. The crossfield ball. Ko Digurui. Now Michael Eager. Currently Port Melbourne's joint top scorer this year is the big centre back. With him and Sam Ford scoring the 2 goals over the top. Here's a chance for Stella. No, the flag has gone up. Just in time his run.
Yeah, it's not very often you find a centre-back and a striker on the same amount of goals, but it's definitely a situation here for Port Melbourne. And, yeah, I think they're just struggling in and around the box. You know, it's those half chances that aren't falling their way, those touches that are going wayward. So maybe as the season gets on, they'll clean that up. But early on, it's definitely been an area that they've struggled in.
They're always, especially Adam Pittock's sides, have always been very hard to beat. It's a dangerous ball back to Tyson. This time gets the full body behind it. Salmon, good switching ball. Here's a chance for Brennan again. As Walker goes on the outside. Crossed in, Fletcher around the corner. Syme's got his body all in front of that one and makes a save.
Yeah, good nice save there from Matthew Symes. A threatening chance for Green Gully, and he makes a save with the chest. And it's definitely end-to-end in this game. But I mean, either team could really take the lead now.
Ziega. Go back to his goalkeeper, who's had to make a couple of big saves in this game. Tonight, Andy Brennan with a back post header. There's a good little side volley there by Fletcher to direct at goalwood. Now Clark will switch it.
Port Melbourne really do well moving the ball side to side and really making their opposition work hard to get it back and really run them into the ground. And they move the ball very quickly too from side to side.
It's the Green Gully midfield just got caught tracking a few men, and that opened up that gap. Pass just missed forward. We've already seen that Jonathan Bounos has now been pushed a little bit more forward, and Jay Davies has dropped back. As Jones will have to clean up that pass. Tyson will find Davies. So once again, Davies gives it up. Ibrahim turns, now forward, deflected, just wide. He'll get the corner, but living dangerously at Green Gully.
Yeah, Green Gully really living on the edge. And like you said, Jonathan Bounos playing as the 10. Usually that's him there as the 6, and generally he doesn't make those mistakes. So I think having Jay Davies trying to play as that 6 is maybe letting them down a little bit. I think they're better. They look better when Bounos is sitting deep.
Ball crossed in. Free header from Clark. Puts it over the top. Bit of a mismatch too there where Jonathan Bounos was marking Yuta Konagaya, probably the smallest player in the Port lineup. Daniel Clark will be disappointed with that. It was a good opportunity, free header.
Yeah, I mean, really some great opportunities for Port Melbourne the last couple of minutes. And we talk about their lack of ability to put their chances away. And it's been somewhat evident here in the first half because they've had some really clear-cut chances that I think other teams would probably bury.
It's Watson. Fletcher, sorry. Konagaya back to Karoma. Just another recap around the grounds. Bentley Greens halftime 1-0 against Hume City. Valentino Ewell with the goal. And Hamish Watson for the Melbourne Knights stroked the ball home early against Dandenong City, who got their first win against Green Gully last week. In their first year in the top flight of the NPL.
What a win that was. It was actually their first flight in the top flight of Victorian football in that club's history. So a club with a great proud history in the southeast. It was very nice to see them get their first win.
So formerly Chelsea Highjuk. Players like junior club of Lubo Milicevic, who come back and played with them a couple of years ago towards the twilight of his career.
I believe also the junior club of Stipo. Pronunciation of the last name is a little bit difficult there. So
this ball's forward. Switching play. Kamau Ibrahim. Mulcahy. Now Daniel Clark. Teguroy trying to fire it in. Ball's cleared his way. Seen Kamau Ibrahim and Yuta Konagaya swap positions a little bit in this game as well. And it's worked, been able to find those little pockets of space when the Gully players sort of man mark and get pulled out of position.
Yeah, I think what Port Melbourne do really well is they pin the other team back.
Well, the flag's going to stay down.
This could be a great chance here for Green Gully.
Brennan can't keep it in though.
Goes up.
The flag does go up. Salmon hooks the ball over the goal.
Yeah, so back like what I was saying, yeah, so Port Melbourne, I think they do really well pinning their opposition back, and then they interchange those positions between their midfielders and their wingers to open up those passing lanes and then try and get their front three in behind. They do it very, very well, and you can see why they create so many chances in games, but it's just a matter of taking those chances.
Sort of a style of football that really suits this pitch. Green Gully, one of the bigger ones in the NPL. Probably not JL Murphy, which I believe is one of the smallest.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you want to play a bit more of a proactive brand of football, you definitely want the biggest size pitch you possibly can get. So I think JL Murphy somewhat hinders their opportunities to win games at home. But yeah, on the road, you think of pitches like Paisley Park and Green Gully Reserve. They really suit the way they play.
Ball over the top. Stella can't reel that one in. Tyson will collect. Now Purcell turns. Walker. So we edge towards half-time. It's been a game with both sides having a couple of really clear-cut chances. Speak of Brennan and Fletcher for Green Gully, and Konagaya Ford and Kamal Ibrahim have come close in this game as well. Still both goalkeepers with a clean sheet.
Yeah, definitely chances are plenty for both teams. And like you said, just neither team really able to capitalise. And with half-time approaching, probably now is not the time you want to concede. So I think we'll start to see Green Gully really start to defend a little bit deeper now.
As Davies wins it back. Could be a late chance for Gully to take the lead. Jay Davies in the box. And it's a penalty. Michael Eager blocks off Jay Davies, who wins the ball, drives it forward, and Michael Eager blocks Jay Davies off. And Green Gully got a great chance here to go in at half-time with the lead.
Yeah, I think it was Michael Eager there. We just spoke about now is not the time to concede, and he really tried to force that pass in between the lines unnecessarily, and Jay Davies picks it up, drives towards the box, and does very well to draw the foul inside the box. And Green Gully now with a great chance on half-time to go 1-0 up.
Oh, it's Alex Salmon.
I believe Alex Salmon missed the penalty against Altona Magic in round 1.
It was a good penalty into the corner that was well saved. So Alex Salmon versus Matthew Symes to give Green Gully the lead here, just on the right on the edge of half-time. It's Salmon, and he beats the goalkeeper, sends him the wrong way, and Green Gully take the lead. And it's Alex Salmon in the goals again for Green Gully. The English striker is in a bit of a hot streak at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's 5 from 5 now for Alex Salmon. He's done really well since coming across from WA. I think if you're Port Melbourne and you're Adam Piddick, you'd be really disappointed. One of your most experienced players there, Michael Eager, making a real crucial mistake just on half-time. But Green Gully are rewarded for their patience and rewarded for sitting back and trying to force those mistakes out of Port Melbourne. So Green Gully really should go into the sheds with the 1-0 lead now.
Well, that's football as it's half-time. Green Gully just taking the leads. Alex Salmon from the spot. It's been an entertaining first half so far, with both sides having a few chances in this game. But it's Alex Salmon from the spot, who was fouled by Michael Eager, and that separates the two sides here. It is Green Gully 1, Port Melbourne 0. And we're just going to have just a short break here for half-time. We'll be back for the second half shortly. Hello and welcome back for the second half, about to kick off here at Green Gully Reserve. Here's Green Gully with an Alex Salmon penalty right on the stroke of half-time that separates the two sides. It's going to be Port Melbourne in the white, ready to kick off. As the referee does his final checks, and we are underway. No changes to either lineup at half-time. We will go through them again shortly. As my name is Chris Gleeson, and back in commentary for the second half, Matt Sultana. How are you going, mate?
Yeah, good, ready for the second half. Should be interesting. I'm interested to see if any team, if either Green Gully or Port Melbourne, make any tactical changes here in the second half, because Port Melbourne towards the end really started to dominate the game, and they were quite unlucky to go 1-0 down. So it'll be really interesting how they come out of the sheds in this second half.
It's sort of been a game built on counter-attack a little bit, and it was Eager's poor pass that gave it up, and Eager with a challenge in the box that gives it away as it's Clark, as they look to get an equaliser back, and that is well done by Tyson to smother that ball. Davies couldn't control it now. Mulcahy. Alan Mulcahy, great ball in the channel. Hole gets there first before Ford. Clears it away. Eager just manhandled Salmon, wouldn't allow him to jump. And Daniel Clark. Just to go back to his goalkeeper. Doesn't like using his left foot, does Matthew Symes. And he clears the ball out for a throw. So the Bentley Greens in the second half in the 63rd minute. And it's another goal to them, so they are 2-0 up against Hume City. We started the season very strongly, did Hume City, and with 2 wins from 2 games, had a draw against Altona, lost against Heidelberg last week, and find themselves 2-0 down against one of the big boys again.
Yeah, Hume City really, I think they had a really good start against Andy Thunder, where they really put 3 or 4 past them early, and since then they've been able to cause some of the bigger teams a bit of a scare, but they've never followed through with it. But yeah, I mean, Bentley are they're hard to beat at this point in the season. They always are.
Had a little blip on the radar last week, Bentley Greens, against a very improved Melbourne Knights side, who have had another strong start to the season. Hamish Watson once again in the goals. I believe it might be his 5th or 6th goal of the season already. So it's a Kiwi coming across for the Melbourne Knights. And that game is still 1-0 with Hamish Watson's goal separating them and Dandenong City. So one of 3 NPL Victoria games kicking off tonight. We will preview tomorrow's game shortly, and obviously Monday night too. Just stick with the play for the moment as it's a foul. And just quickly through the starting lineups again for Green Gully. It's Jared Tyson in goal, Jordan Lampard, Jordan Hole, Daniel Jones and Jeremy Walker the back 4, with Tim Purcell and Jonathan Boonis and Jay Davies in midfield. On the wings are Matthew Fletcher and Andy Brennan, with Alex Salmon up top. Matthew Symes is in goal for Port Melbourne, with the back 4 of Ko De Godoy, Michael Eager, Alan Kearney and Amadou Karoma. In midfield, it's Alan Mulcahy and Daniel Clark, with Yuta Konagay just in front of them. On the wings, Francesco Stella, Kamal Ibrahim and Sam Ford up top. As Salmon is offside. And on the benches for Green Gully, Lucas Spinella, William Seamus, Hadasu Bayu, T-Boy Camera and Jack Kotsana. So a very youthful bench for Green Gully. And for Port Melbourne, it's, as we stay with the play now, with Daniel Clark in the box. He gets around. Clark, good save. And Green Gully clear. Once again, Tyson denies Port Melbourne.
Yeah, De Godoy really played a great ball in behind there to Francesco Stella, to Daniel Clark, who kind of just had a stab at it with the toe in the end, and maybe a bit of a cleaner finish. Could have seen an equaliser here, but he really just stabbed it with the toe in the end.
Another warning shot from the Sharks. We quickly go through their bench. It's Nick Ayres, the backup goalkeeper. Maker, Valley Sesnick, Finn Beakhurst and Jonathan Munoz. As Connor Gayer brings it forward. And it's going to go out for a corner.
Small change for Port Melbourne Sharks. Kamal Ibrahim and Francesco Stella have swapped sides here. So you've got Kamal on the left now and Francesco on the right. So I'm not sure if that's tactical or it's just a half-time change they wanted to do. But it puts an interesting battle here with Jeremy Walker and Kamal Ibrahim, two former Melbourne Heart players.
Both foundation players, I believe, too.
Yeah, I think they were both part of that initial National Youth League squad that was assembled by John Aloisi and, of course, the former Green Gully head coach, Arthur Pappas.
Ball close to the keeper. Tyson spills it. It's pinball in the box and Gully get it clear.
Wow, another opportunity there. It was a lofting ball into the box and Jared Tyson just a bit of butterfingers and it slipped and it nearly pinballed into the back of the net. But Green Gully really get out of jail here as Port Melbourne try and create another attack.
Jones just gets it clear. And we see the best of Tyson and we see the worst of Tyson so far in the NPL this year. As Brennan drives it forward. And a couple of nibbles at his heel and the foul's been given.
Yeah, I think the last thing you want to do for Jared Tyson is start creating a highlight reel of these mistakes. But yeah, in one moment he can be solid, but in also in other moments he has these moments of brain fade. So yeah, Green Gully really lucky to get out of jail there.
As it's Jay Davies over the ball, not too far away from where he put it in the top corner last week. That was not from a set piece. Is he going to go direct or is he going to go to the back post? Try to fire it in Goldwood. Gets a corner.
Yeah, very smart there from Jay Davies. He looked to whip it in. He tried to sneak it around the wall because he saw that Matthew Symes was really far away from to that right-hand side. So he tried to sneak it around the wall there and he gets a corner out of it.
Green Gully with all their players at the back post. Zonal marking for Port Melbourne. Fired it in. Port Melbourne deal with it. They really struggled with set pieces last week where Pascoe Vale caused a lot of problems from their many corners. I think they had nearly 14 all up in the game last week. But in the end it was one of Port Melbourne's corners which saw them get the goal through Michael Eager over the top. It's going to run away for a goal kick.
And that's interesting because when you look at this Green Gully side, there really isn't a lot of players that you would say are aerial threats. The only two that may come to mind are obviously Daniel Jones and Jonathan Boonis, but really apart from those two, that they don't really have much attacking threat or defending threats on set pieces.
The Sharks are able to deal with it though. It was interesting technique where everyone was at the back post making a near post run. Davies goes through the back of Conagaya, no foul given. Dangerous ball for Kearney to control. Salmon tried to be a bit clever and play it one way and run around the other side, but Eager collects the ball for Port. Now looking for Conagaya. It's going to bounce and Tyson, the edge of his box, collects. See a cautious start to the second half by Green Gully. They're the ones in front with that Salmon penalty right at the edge of the first half. Purcell goes back to his keeper. As this game goes on, it's going to be all up to Port Melbourne to get back into this game. Now they go through Brennan. Fires it in. Gets past Kearney, but Eager clears. So now Brennan plays it forward. Kearney away. He's done well. Kamal Ibrahim. Does Green Gully get all their players behind the ball? Eager to bring it forward.
Port Melbourne doing a really good job here trying to pin Green Gully back into their defensive third. So they're moving the ball around quite nicely. They're moving it from side to side, really making that front four of Green Gully work hard to try and win that ball back. And you can see again, Andy Brennan was sucking in the big ones just before. He has had to do a lot of work off the ball in this game.
So again, he chases the full back, Ko De Goodoi, but the ball switched out to the right. And they fire it through. Well done, Jones, to shield it out for a goal kick.
Looks like Daniel Clark is walking on ginger legs there. He has, as he comes off that run, he seems to be pulling up a bit sore. Also, De Goy here at left back was also walking on a bit of ginger legs. So, although there's no activity on the Port Melbourne bench as of such, we may see some soon. And it's just as I say that, the Port Melbourne subs get up to start warming up.
We are getting to around that time, 55 minutes played. The Sharks really do have some real attacking talent on the bench. Valley Sesnick and Finn Beakhurst.
Yeah, I think it was actually quite interesting to see Valley Sesnick on the bench. I think the four previous games he's come on and done really well, and he's looked really dangerous in that front third, which is an area where Port Melbourne have evidently struggled in their opening game. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the second half.
It's been a good battle on the wings with Francesco Stella and Kamal Ibrahim winning out tonight. Dangerous ball to the back post, Walker. And now it's Clark who strikes, but got underneath and it's out for another goal kick.
And I think Port really have the freedom because they've also got Finn Beakhurst, who is a former Moreton Bay United player in Queensland and formerly of Brisbane Roar's NYL squad. So I think we can see some changes out wide to really put those Green Gully fullbacks under pressure in the second half as they look to push for an equaliser.
Ball falls for Brennan. And now it's Kearney. Mulcahy. And there goes the senior citizens of this Port Melbourne side. Bring the ball up. Now it's Mulcahy. De Goodoi. Ball played through, looking for Ford. Too much on it.
He looks like quite ginger De Goodoi. I think he's maybe been a late signing for Port Melbourne, and maybe he didn't get the full pre-season in him, but he has evidently slowed down here in this second half, and as a substitute is getting ready for Port Melbourne.
It's a long way away from us, but looks like it might be Valley Sesnick is the one warming up. Here's another chance for Green Gully to double their lead. Short corner. Dangerous bowling by Davies. In the end, Conagaya clears. Looking for Brennan. Trying to fire it in, eager. Controls it. Ibrahim. Only one to find there was Ford, and he can't hold the ball up. Gully happy to go back to their goalkeeper.
I think it's definitely an area for Port Melbourne that they maybe have struggled to replicate from the season prior, where they had Sam Smith, the big boy from Queensland up front, who was very good at holding the ball up with his back to goal. Sam Ford seems like a player that maybe likes to play a little bit more in behind, and evidently as Port Melbourne try and play forward, they seem to struggle to have him holding the ball up in that front third. So it's definitely an area that may need some adjusting for Port Melbourne.
It's a very similar squad, Port Melbourne, from last year, but that is the big difference with Sam Ford out. Sam Ford in and Big Sam Smith out. Where Green Gully, on the other hand, have got a very well-changed squad from the side that finished in the promotion relegation spot last year. They managed to survive the drop in a very entertaining clash with, I think it was Moreland City last year.
Yeah, it was. Green Gully, 33 years consecutive appearances in the top flight of Victorian football, so they really avoided a scare. They were 2-0 down in the 90th minute of that promotion playoff against Moreland City, and I believe it was Manny Muscat who came to save their skins that day, and they got the winner in extra time. And I think Green Gully were very relieved because it's been about 40 years since the club was last relegated. So Green Gully, who at one point were almost a finals contender at the start of the season, their season quickly turned around and they became a relegation battler towards the end.
We have seen quite a few Green Gully players from last year go to different clubs and do really, really well as well. So just one of those seasons as now Conogea drives it forward. Once again, the shooting boots are on the wrong foot. Conogea skies that high over the top. Did have Sam Ford right on the edge of the 6-yard box wanting that cut back. And it's just not working for Conogea this season so far.
And just as you say that, Conogea is actually the one coming off for Port Melbourne, and I believe he is going to be replaced by Valley Sesnick.
He got a late reprieve in this game, did Uta Conogea. Michael Lee was supposed to start in front of him. Michael Lee couldn't pass a late fitness test, so Conogea was restored to the starting 11. As that change is now made. All over the top. The Godoy sees it out.
I actually believe, just a correction there, I think it's actually Finn Beakhurst, the boy from Moreton Bay United, that has actually come on for Port Melbourne.
It's definitely Finn Beakhurst, the number 18 on the far side.
As Green Gully looked to make a sub, I can tell you, Ute Conogea was not happy about coming off. A big kick of the drink bottle on the way out, and he's sitting on the far fence there. Quite an interesting substitution, because I think he was actually very good in this game. He was getting in between the lines. He, I think, was the most dangerous player for Port Melbourne in the final third. So a bit of an interesting change for Port Melbourne, but maybe they're seeing something that we're not.
So it's Tim Purcell. Very slowly makes his way from the far side of the pitch. He'll be Green Gully's first substitution. Didn't quite see the board, so we'll just wait to see who's come on for him. Go straight into midfield. So it's going to be William Simas.
Yeah, a little bit of a difficult one. I think it's, William Timas. A little bit of a difficult pronunciation there, but we'll do the best we can.
Timas is straight into the action. Now, Karoma. Good ball through, looking for Beakhurst. Fires it across and just evades Ford. What a great introduction that would have been from the youngster to cut the ball back to Ford.
Oh, almost identical to the substitution Port Melbourne made last week, where Kamal Ibrahim came on and made an instant impact. So yeah, Finn Beakhurst getting down the line there, cutting it back, and Sam Ford really a bit of a delayed run, but another great opportunity for Port Melbourne to equalise in this game.
We'll just quickly go around the grounds again. Bentley Greens 2, Hume City 0, 79 minutes played, and 61 minutes played. It's Dandenong City 0, Melbourne Knights 1. Melbourne Knights looking to register their 4th win of the season. The only blemish was away to Heidelberg a couple of weeks ago, who are starting to find their feet again.
Yeah, and I think actually in that game, from record, Melbourne Knights were actually, I think, one of the better sides, especially in that first half. They had a lot of chances, and unfortunately they just didn't take them. But Melbourne Knights are definitely a team to watch this season. I think they've got one of the best front threes in the league.
It's one of the things I was saying before the season is I believe that they had a probably top 3, top 4 squad. Just bringing it all together, having the temperament. They've got quite a few youngsters in that squad too that have come through the very successful youth academy that the Melbourne Knights have produced. Great players throughout the years.
Yeah, and I think Melbourne Knights have almost teased us the last couple of seasons with a finals berth, and they've always just fallen short. But it's promising signs in 2019 for Melbourne Knights.
It's Daniel Clark brings the ball up. Also, the NPL streams will continue tomorrow. Got Avondale versus Pascoe Vale at Avenger Park at 3:15. Avondale with a perfect start to the season. Pascoe Vale have been a little bit scratchy. They've obviously had a very tumultuous pre-season with Hakeem Al-Arabi having one of their star players obviously incarcerated, and thankfully he's back home with us, but a lot of effort went into that, and they've just been a little bit off the boil this season versus the high-flying Adventures. How do you see that game will pan out tomorrow?
Yeah, I think a lot of people maybe didn't expect a lot from Pascoe Vale early in the season, just through the mental fatigue that they had to go through, knowing that one of your players was in such a difficult situation overseas. So Avondale have been very good, and at Avenger Park they always run right, and I really think that might be the case again tomorrow. I think Avondale could score a couple of goals in the process too.
Curling it for the top corner, and it's just wide with Stella. Sam Ford came close at the near post, and Stella curled it, and it looked good for a long way from where we were. It's just gone wide. Yeah,
it looked like it was bending, and it just held off just at the end. And Port Melbourne are getting closer and closer to this equaliser, and you can definitely feel it coming. They just need to keep going and keep persisting and keep pushing forward, because it's definitely going to come their way if they keep going.
That's Walker. Good layoff from Salmon. Brunis, and now Walker gets it back again. Sliding challenge, and Eager steps in front of Walker, and the foul's being given. Got a few players down. Jeremy Walker, that's a solid challenge. It's again no cards being brandished to any player.
I think it was a bit of a silly challenge really from Michael Eager. I mean, Jeremy Walker was already losing the ball as it was after the first initial challenge in from Kamal Ibrahim, so he really just came through and clattered him there. Bit of a silly challenge really for Michael Eager. He's quite lucky to escape sanction, to be honest.
Jay Davies over the ball. Players are pretty bunched up. It's a real straight ball to deliver into the box. Just clips it in. Eager away. It's back in. Jones just couldn't control it. It's out for a goal kick. We've also got Heidelberg versus Dandenong Thunder at 6 p.m. at Olympic Village tomorrow. Dandenong Thunder are 2 from 2 from away games. Haven't been able to match that record at home. And Heidelberg are really finding their feet now with a couple of wins in a row.
Yeah, I think when you talk about Dandy Thunder, you got to talk about the Dandy Thunder at home and the Dandy Thunder away, because Alex, as they're almost two different teams. But like you said, Heidelberg are finding their feet, and at Olympic Village, I think it is going to be a tough outing for Vanton Kulkari's men. But it should be an interesting game. Both teams have plenty of attacking talent in their teams.
Francesco Stella on the ball again. Mulcahy. Chroma forward, finds Kamal Ibrahim. Trying to take on the fullback. It's done well. Cripps in a dangerous ball that Walker gets clear. To Goodoi. Tried to smash that one. It finds for Stella. Once again, Tyson makes the save. Can he get to the rebound? He does.
That's out.
And that's it. Tyson's not happy, but it is a corner.
Yeah, it was an interesting shot there, and Jared Tyson really didn't take it cleanly, and Sanford was a bit slow to react, and it's a corner here for Port Melbourne. They are really pushing forward for that equaliser.
Can Port get back level on terms here? Tyson doesn't get it clear again. It's fired back in. It's cleared. De Goodoi charges. And the foul's being given. So players aren't happy with that challenge. We did see a real fiery clash here with a few challenges last week for Green Gully. Michael Manus in the middle tries to sort things out.
And we just narrowly avoid the handbags this time round, but it's been a common theme of the early games this season in the NPL, but the referee's done well to break that up.
Will be the Gully free kick. Also, we've got Altona Magic versus Oakley Cannons at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Dusan Bojnak, who's been a real star for a long time at the Oakley Cannons, up against his old side.
Yeah, and I think Oakley Cannons are really desperate at this point to get that first win and get the monkey off the back as Port Melbourne push forward here through Sam Ford. It's an easy turnover.
Oh, Hole. So again, Tyson's just looked a bit nervous again. It wasn't the best of passes back by his young centre back, and now the Gully through Brennan bring the ball forward. Crosses it in. Pretty much an easy one for Symes to take, and just back at Altona versus Oakley.
Yeah, I think, like I said, Oakley are desperate to get that season kick-started with the first win. It's going to, although Altona Magic will want to have something to say about that. Obviously, Dusan Bojnak makes his return against the Oakley Cannons, and it's going to be an interesting battle in that midfield, and an interesting battle. It's the battle of the attacking third, I think, at Paisley Park. Although Altona have struggled at Paisley Park, you would fancy them at home.
Beakhurst nearly found the ball through to Stella. Stella goes over. The Gully player now goes to the deck. Might be Andy Brennan over there, who's seemed like he struggled all night. Looks like a substitution will be made through Brennan. It's going to be both sides to make changes, it seems.
Yeah, it looks like Goodoroy is going to come off for Port Melbourne, another player that was seemingly struggling in the second half, and Andy Brennan looks to be coming off for Green Gully, who was also really struggling from early in the first half, so an interesting one. And I believe, just confirmation, it's actually Alan Mulcahy that's come off for Port Melbourne.
It was just Goodoroy going over to get a drink, so Mulcahy's off.
Sorry, Francesco Stella's off. Hard to see on this far side of Green Gully Reserve with the numbers, white shirts and black numbers.
We are all the way up on the hill. We haven't got the ability to zoom in with our own eyes if you guys do on the streams. So it's going to be Brennan make way.
I believe that's T-Boy Kamara coming on for Green Gully. Very good to see him back playing football after he spent almost 2 years on the sidelines with, I believe, quite a serious liver disease. So it's very good to see T-Boy Kamara playing football once again.
He got back into football with none of warning in the Melbourne Knights last year and missed the last couple of games for Green Gully. It's just confirmation that Veli Sesnik was the man who come on for Francesco Stella. Ball into the box, away from Ford. Sesnik couldn't control his first touch. As Port Melbourne look to get this equaliser.
It's really been Port Melbourne this half. I mean, they've really pushed and pushed and pushed since they came out from the sheds to get that equaliser, and they've come very close to getting it. And yeah, you know, unfortunately in football, sometimes football can be a harsh game, and if you don't take your chances, you can get punished. So time is of the essence for Port Melbourne now to get this equaliser.
Ibrahim let it run. Davies picks it up, and once again Green Gully go on the counter with Brunis. Plays it through. Mulcahy. Now Veli Sesnik. Looks to cut inside. As he's taken the right wing, and Finn Beakhurst has moved to the left. Now it's Kearney. Now it's Finn Beakhurst. Sport just moving the ball around. To Goodoroy. Clark, dangerous area. Jones away. See the real intensity lift from the Sharks as Kearney brings it forward. Now Clark, near post, once again gets well dealt with. Hall gets it out for a corner.
Yeah, Alan Kearney did really well there to drive his team forward and play that ball off to Finn Burkhurst, who whipped in a nice ball into the box. Port Melbourne, it almost feels like this goal's coming. It's only going to be a matter of time as they look to unload the bench again with another substitution.
Kamal Ibrahim over to take this. Dangerous ball in. Eager try to get a foot towards goal. And in the end, Green Gully just clear it up the hill. We'll get to the final game of NPL Victoria soon, which will be Kingston City and South Melbourne. And a big Monday night standalone game. It's been great viewing on a Monday night at Kingston City.
Yeah, those Monday night games are always good early in the season, and they're even better when you've got big games like Kingston City versus South Melbourne, and that's a game I'm definitely looking forward to on the Monday night. South Melbourne have mixed results there start of the season, and Kingston, I believe, only with the standalone 2 points from their opening 4 games. So both teams will be looking for the win, and Kingston City obviously are going to be looking for their first win of the season.
Ball over the top. Sesnick does well, puts it in the back of the net, but the flag is up. Great control by the youngster who was at Green Gully only a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, well, it was actually last season. Valley Sesnick started his season at Green Gully before finishing it at Port Melbourne. Did well to bring the ball down there and finish it. Unfortunately, he was offside, but definitely some attacking intent from Adam Piddick to really unload the bench with those attacking substitutions.
This ball's cleared out. So it's Alan Mulcahy to make way. It's going to be Jonathan Munoz. Looks like Munoz has been moved into midfield. Just sort of expected that Kearney would be the one to swap over, but high foot up on Jones.
Yeah, I thought maybe Alan Kearney would maybe push into that midfield role and Munoz slot in at centre-back, but obviously they're keeping it the same for now, trying to ensure that they don't concede the second goal, which would almost be the killer blow in this game.
So now it's Jones over the ball.
Looks like Jonathan Boonis and Alex Sulman were exchanging words quite heatedly just there, obviously not happy about something.
So the ball goes long out for a goal kick. I see quite a few Gully players at the moment. And the ball was touched in the box, so that rule still applies. So now they play it out. Kearney. To Eager. As Port Melbourne try to play their way out of defence.
Yeah, they dealt with that one well there. They were definitely pushing numbers forward, and they didn't have much left back to play out there, but they did well to deal with that press from Green Gully.
Sesnick with a bit of skill in midfield, but Smarts gets it clear. Well, that's a bad play by Eager. Opens it up for Boonos. He's got T-Boy Camera out wide, and T-Boy Camera puts it over the top. Another rare error from Michael Eager.
Yeah, Michael Eager really, flashes of the first half. Gives that ball away. Jonathan Boonis slots in T-Boy Kamara, who puts the ball well over the bar. That was really the opportunity for Green Gully to kill off the game here and make that 2-0. And it was just another uncharacteristic mistake from Michael Eager.
As Port Melbourne stay alive in this game. What a start this would be to the season for Green Gully. If they can get another win, their third of the season if they can succeed tonight. Ball forward, Kamal Ibrahim goes over. Ball's out for a throw. Michael Manus wasn't going to give a foul for that. Jeremy Walker. Davies just clears it up the pitch. Jonathan Munoz. It's really good to see him back playing after that horror broken arm last year.
Yeah, it was really a hard injury to see from Jonathan Munoz early last season that pretty much kept him out for all of 2018. It's good to see him back playing football again.
In the end, Fletcher gets it out for a throw and then clears it out for another one. She forces Port Melbourne back. And the foul's been given on Kamal Ibrahim. Michael Eager and Alan Kearney sprint up inside the box.
Yeah, Port Melbourne really pushing numbers forward for this set piece, but they've left themselves 1v1 here on the halfway line with Alex Salmon. That's a very dangerous risk to be taking in the 80th minute as you push for the equaliser.
Kamal Ibrahim has to get this delivery right. And he does. Finds its way Eager. Couldn't control it. Ball forward, Davies. Billy Sesnick. Oh, it's a poor pass from him. Fletcher's done well. Now he'll drive it forward for Gully. Can they make the most of this Port Melbourne mistake? Still Fletcher. It was well defended by Kamal Ibrahim and wins the foul.
Yeah, and we spoke about before the game this Green Gully Reserve. It is a bit longer, the grass, so the ball definitely holds up. And Veli Sesnick found that out the hard way there by playing that square pass across goal and almost gifting Green Gully the opportunity to kill off this game.
We do have a second goal over in Dandenong. It is the Melbourne Knights now with a 2-goal lead. Anthony Duzell with the goal, and we got full time over at Bentley, and he's the Bentley Greens 2, Hume City 0. As De Godoy couldn't keep it in. The ball went out right next to the corner flag. It will be a throw.
Looks like it is going to be a throw-in. I thought that ball definitely went out for a goal kick, but the referee's given a throw-in in a difficult situation for Green Gully.
Beakhurst heads it back. Now Clark. Walker, and this time wins the throw for Gully.
Really now for Port Melbourne, all they can do is hope that they create a chance and take it. They've unloaded all their subs. There's nothing more Adam Pitty can do really now but sit and hope that his side can pull an equaliser out. Obviously Green Gully still have the one more sub that they can make, and I'm sure they're going to use that to run down the clock later in this game.
I still have a feeling there's one more goal in this game. It's either the Sharks will get level or on the counter-attack Green Gully will seal the 3 points.
Yeah, you can definitely see that this game heading that way. It's either going to be a grandstand finale or it's going to be lights out here for Port Melbourne as we approach the 90th minute.
Walker forward. De Godoy wins that battle. Now Eager. Plays it over the top. Ford. Now Sesnick. Trying to find Ford again. Gully get numbers back and Bunis clears it up the pitch. Ibrahim's got a bit of a problem here. Manages to get the pass back to Kearney.
Michael Eager staying forward here. They've only left Munoz and Kearney back. They're really pushing for this equaliser now, Port Melbourne.
Now Kearney. De Godoy. Good time. First time ball to Beakhurst. Cuts it back. Sesnick just couldn't get the shot away.
Yeah, Beakhurst cuts that ball away, cut that ball back into Veli Sesnick, and Veli Sesnick tries to do the best he can to put that away. But the chances they're coming thick and fast for Port Melbourne, but they really got to take one soon.
Jared Tyson has made some big saves in this game, but also made a couple of little errors that could have cost his team dearly.
Yeah, he did make some big saves in that first half, especially towards the end of the first half. He also did make some couple of mistakes that could have led to Port Melbourne goals, but often in these games, if you win, they're going to talk about the saves you made. If you lose, they're going to talk about the mistakes you made. So it's really a no-win situation for the goalkeepers.
And it was Michael Eager's mistake in stoppage time in the first half, where he gave the ball away and then fouled Jay Davies in the box that Alex Salmon dispatched. That's the goal that separates the two sides. Now Jonathan Munoz over the top to Goodoi. Couldn't wrap his foot around that. The flag went up anyway. So Green Gully will get out of danger again.
I mean, you can really count Green Gully's chances in the second half on one hand. I can only really think from memory 2 chances for Green Gully. It's really been all Port Melbourne in the second half. They've done a really good job pinning back Green Gully and getting their plays in between the lines. But in the final third, it has been poor from Port Melbourne, and it's really been the story of their season so far.
Just 2 goals. Approaching the end of their 5th game this season. Now it's Munoz. Saw that against Avondale as well. Once they concede the goal, they just haven't been able to find a way back. And they've got some many a ball. This is a good ball forward. Clark just couldn't really control it. Jay Davies. Walker, it's deflected. It spins into the night air and out for another throw. We saw that last year with the Sharks as well. They won plenty of points from coming from behind. Most notably, they come back 3 times against Moreland Zebras in the FFA Cup qualifier to make the national round of 32. 3 times they were behind before prevailing 4-3 in one of the real epic games last season.
Yeah, and I think it was a real staple point of Port Melbourne was their ability to score goals last season. It was really at this point last season when we were thinking, do we have a potential dark horse on their hands? I remember they beat Bentley Greens 4-3 at Bentley Greens, and Ute Konagaya scored a hat-trick that day. So it's been a bit of a different start from Port Melbourne this season. Maybe one that a lot of people didn't expect.
Well, Michael Manus has warned Jeremy Walker for time wasting a few times already. Very quick to get the card out this time. That's his 3rd warning. It's one referee that I really do appreciate. He doesn't let the time wasting really carry on. Now here's the Gully. Salmus will play it forward. Kamara back post. Here's a chance for Gully to seal the points, and they do. And it's Alex Salmon with his 2nd goal for the game. And he continues his hot streak. He's 6th for the season, and has he sealed the points for Green Gully?
Yeah, I think it's lights out now for Port Melbourne. William Siamas does really well to drive forward, plays the ball to T-Boy Kamara, who finds Alex Salmon at the back post and buries it in the top corner. This is turning out to be one of the signings of the season for Green Gully. He's been absolutely prolific in front of goal, and he's carried that prolific form across from Western Australia. Alex Salmon buries it here. It's 2-0 Green Gully, and you would imagine this is game over.
Like his fellow Englishman, Brandon Barnes, who's got a very similar goal-scoring record, the 2 of them in NPL football. Coming over from the west, Alex Salmon. It was a well-taken goal. Controlled it, had the time to put it across the keeper and into the corner. Symes beaten on the 2nd time tonight by Salmon. Green Gully. Oh, what a good start to the season Green Gully have had now.
And it's very interesting when you talk about Green Gully, because they were probably a side that a lot of people thought might start a little slow, just due to the fact that the amount of players they lost in the off-season. You know, players like Joshua Baresi, Lambaridis, Mitch Cooper, just to name a few. So they've done really well to start the season off strongly, and in terms of scoring goals, they look like they can score plenty at any time.
Just on the live ladder, Green Gully have moved up to 4th position. As we said, there's quite a few games still to play out in this round. 1 of 3 tonight. To Goodoi, fires it in. Tyson spills it again, and once again he gets away with it.
Yeah, Jared Tyson, like we said, just making these small mistakes that really they're just teasing Port Melbourne to come score a goal. And yeah, it seems to be a common theme with Jared Tyson. He makes big saves, but he also makes these mistakes that are rather bizarre and rather really from nothing situations. So maybe over the next coming weeks, it's something they need to address, because they have some tough games coming up, as discussed at half-time. Obviously, they've got Avondale at home, South Melbourne at Lakeside, and Pascoe Vale at home. So they're definitely not easy games for Green Gully.
Once with Green Gully, well, Jared Tyson, if he was a cricketer, he'd be going from fine leg to third man. He'd be keeping him away from the slips at the moment. Lucas Spinella is on the bench, so they do got two quality goalkeepers. So far, he's kept a clean sheet, but just these little errors that have crept into his game the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and you'd have to wonder, maybe against better teams, are those chances going to get punished? Especially when you talk about playing a side like Avondale. If you give any of those players in the front three a chance to score a goal, they're going to put it in the back of the net, that's for sure.
Here's Ford, trying to wrap his boot around that. It may have taken a deflection, it has.
It's actually I think it's quite surprising that Sam Ford's actually lasted the length of this game. He really has had a lot of chances in these last couple of weeks, and he hasn't really been taking them. So it has been surprising to see Adam Pittick persist with Sam Ford up front. I guess that is the case when you do bring in a visa player, that you do want to give them the time to adjust this league. But a question has to be asked of how long, because it's definitely an area that Port Melbourne are lacking.
It's fired into the box. Gully eventually get it clear. Beakhurst. Back post, says Nick. It's headed away, and in the end, Jones will just clear it out. Another stoppage time corner for the Sharks. Well, they've got to do the impossible. They've got to score now. Another ball in, dangerous area, eager. Tyson out of position, it's shielded out for a goal kick. It's well done by Tyson to crash into Eager, who looked to have a free header.
Yeah, well, it's actually been a common theme for Green Gully this game. I mean, Port Melbourne really having free players in the box in these set pieces all the time, but they haven't been able to capitalise on it. And Jared Tyson did well to come out there and really just restrict Michael Eager's ability to try and bury that one.
And just from Michael Tyson on the comments, great to be able to watch Green Gully each week from Queensland. Well, we're glad you're enjoying the NPL streams. You can always comment through to us on Facebook, join in the conversation. Munoz gives it away. Can Gully get a third on the counter? Salmon's quite happy just to hold on to possession. They haven't really done that well on that occasion, but they win the throw.
Really, Green Gully in this second half were almost happy to sit back and say, you come to us and you create the chances. And they absorbed all that pressure for the whole second half. And when they got their chance finally towards the end of this game to bury it, they did. And I think that's a sign of really good experience from Green Gully, because experienced teams do that well. They know how to soak up pressure, and they know when the right times to break forward are.
We have 5 games into the season now. Gully with 3 wins and 2 losses. So 4th position they are currently. Don't expect many people really talked them up to be real finals chances. They sort of said that it was more of a stepping stone to get back on track after such a poor season last year and a lot of changes. But do you see Green Gully to be a real finals side this year?
Oh, look, it's definitely it's a long season, and I think in the early days it's always hard to judge teams. But one thing's for sure with Green Gully, they've seemed to have shrugged the mental stress of last season off. Going from finals contention to relegation battlers, it seems to have they've put that in the past and they've moved on very quickly. And they do look like a strong team this season. And with Alex Salmon up front, if he keeps scoring goals, they'll make the finals for sure.
Port Melbourne, on the other hand, finalists last season, Avondale defeated them in the elimination final. A lot of people said that Adam Piddock's side overachieved last year. As it's full time here at Green Gully Reserve, it is Green Gully 2, Port Melbourne 0. Alex Salmon with both the goals, one in the first half, one in the second, and Green Gully record their third win of the season. And it's a tough defeat for Port Melbourne, who have had a slow start to this season.
Yeah, it's been a slow start for Port Melbourne this season. You'd almost think now at round 5 it may have to be back to the drawing board for Adam Piddock, because he has to make some changes. I know it's early in the season, but you don't want to let these games go on where you're not picking up points, because if you want to be in the finals, it's games like today where you look back and think, well, what if we did take those chances? What if we did collect a couple extra points early in the season? So you don't want to let these early games let you down too much, but you also don't want them to get away from you.
And that's the way it ends here. It is Green Gully 2, Port Melbourne 0. My name is Chris Gleeson, and Matt Sultana, thank you very much for joining me for the coverage tonight.
No problem. It was a pleasure to be here. It was a really good game to call too.
That's all right. Well, we hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Plenty of NPL action coming your way tomorrow. So enjoy the rest of your night, and good night.